In this lesson, we'll try to draw out some of the geometry for our grill, do some more detail work up there, and start to add some resolution just around the whole body, just kind of refine the shape a little bit more. So let's go ahead and start by bringing down the geometry here in the front of the grill, and we'll just grab these faces, all the faces underneath, and let's go ahead and just extrude them down a little bit closer to the ground there. And we'll just go ahead and pull those down, and let's pull them back in just a little bit. And we can make sure that that shape is working for us. Now, one other thing we want to do, we want to have a little edge right along here. So let's go ahead and add an edge loop right in there, and that's going to follow along across there, which is okay. At this point, we're going to be able to use that extra geometry. And then I'll just grab these, all these points, all the way up here, and just pull those out so it's a little bit more of a flat edge there. So I'll just pull those out. And now we just need to make sure that we've got kind of a nice curve surface there with, take out as many of the sort of the dents as we can. Okay. So we've got kind of a nice surface there. Now we can curve this in a little bit more even than what we have. If I just deselect all those, and we can kind of pull this in. We also want to add another loop in the center here to get that sort of a curved shape, and it'll help us when we come in and try to draw out part of our grill here. So I'll take and just select some of these, and we'll just try to maintain that curvature that we have there. So we'll grab these in the front, pull these out. We're just trying to make it like a nice curve. Okay, so you're going to have to start being a little bit more aware of the shape and making sure that you kind of maintain a nice curve. Again, that's one of the challenges when we're working here with straight polygons, as far as keeping that curve going and just avoiding any sort of creases and things like that. So we'll bring these guys up forward, and I'll pull these back a bit and up to maintain that. You can see that I've just pulled up that line right here just a little bit, so it matches up a little bit more with that line on the canopy. That geometry was there, I just kind of moved it up. And let's go ahead and shape this out a little bit more. And let's go ahead and delete the interior faces that we created when we extruded our face there. And let's work on the shape of the grill. Now we want this line right in here to kind of come in and then come out and form this sort of a triangle shape here. So we'll go ahead and create that shape and pull this in nice and tight. I create that shape there. Now this shape, I want to have kind of an inset right here next to this area, so we'll go ahead and pull that in, and we're just kind of roughing these in right now. Once we get more resolution in here, we'll really start to be able to shape these a little bit more than what we can do right now. So we'll just pull this across, and let's go ahead and pull this down. And for this, let's go ahead and smooth this out. I'm just going to do that by grabbing these points right here, and this transition right here, I just want to smooth that out just a little bit, so it's not just a straight transition up there. Okay, so now what we need to do is draw out where we want our actual grill to be. Now we don't want it to be straight across, so we're going to have to, it's going to kind of cut along, and we want to create a nice seam line that sort of goes up and over and kind of connects up to one of these corners here. So to draw across our geometry, we're going to be using the split polygon tool here. So let's say that we want our grill to, I'm going to start maybe down here, and we'll just start to draw it up where we want it. So I can kind of cut it off right there, let's say, and then I'll follow that line. And then at this point, we want it to, let's say, curve up and kind of cut over what we have here as our fender. We want it to kind of cut across there. So we'll go ahead and I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit more. Move those back and grab these points here and smooth those down a little bit just to create kind of a more smooth surface for us to work with. And now we can decide where we want this to come off and just kind of bring it up across here. So let's say we wanted to kind of curve up. To undo, if you draw across here, you can still have that highlighted. Just hit delete, and that'll delete the last one, and then you can go ahead and place another one up here as you like. So let's just kind of cut across and create kind of a smooth line all the way up here. And let's cut it off right there. And so you can see that it's really pretty rough, but we can come in and let's just go ahead and grab these 2 points that we've got here where we've cut across here and just merge those together. And we're going to get some strange geometry here, but we'll come in and clean that up as we continue to work on this. And to move this, I'm going to just smooth that out from the front so that's got a nice line to it there. Okay, and now what we want to do is come down. So we've got a crease here, and then we want to come down and create an area for the headlight and also for the grill. So we can start maybe coming off of here, drawing down to this point. And now I want to go ahead and add another edge loop right down here for that top part. And I'll go ahead and connect that up. And you can continue that onto the other side and connect that up as well. So maintain kind of our four-sided geometry. In some of these areas you can see we've got some triangles and some strange geometry because we're cutting across the grain kind of at an angle. So we're going to come up with some of strange geometries, but we'll be able to go ahead and fix that. We're just trying to define the area that we want our grill to be. And so I want it to be kind of a curve here. Okay, and you may want it to come up a little bit higher than that. If we take our normal move axis, we can move that up along the surface. Okay, probably need some more geometry in here. But we can move this around so that it kind of will curve around that a bit more. But you can see how that changes our curve a little bit. So it's going to be a little bit of a give and take, and we may want to go ahead and add some more resolution in there, but we're just trying to get the basic shape built in at this point. Okay. So this is basically where we want our sort of our grill to be, right in here. Okay. If we want to go ahead and add some resolution here, we can do that. Let's go ahead and add it so that it comes along the edge over here, and this will enable us to sort of tighten up that edge and give us some more resolution there. And so at this point we can come in and connect that up here. If we want it not to be such an extreme transition right here, we can cut that off and gradually work it back into the original line, and then take those edges and delete them so that it kind of right here, this is where we want it, back here this is where we want it, and then this is sort of where we can work on the transition there. Okay, let's go ahead and let's route this geometry while we're here back up and around. So we want this to come around and turn the corner and become this row right here. So I'm going to take some of these points here and kind of move them up, something more like that. And let's go ahead and grab those points and let's just merge those. And we'll dial up our distance to something a little bit better. And now we'll get rid of that edge. And move these up as well. So we're starting to refine our lines here on the car and get a little bit more shape to it, so that this line comes across and goes up and over the back fender here. And we can add another line in here and connect that back up with that previous line that we just deleted. But now at least that line kind of comes down and across the way that we want it to. Okay, so the front looks pretty messy, but we'll be able to come in and tweak that geometry coming in the next few lessons. We'll be doing that. We'll also be working on the crease lines. Right now, if we smooth this, it's going to be just kind of a blob. We need to start adding some resolution in here to hold those lines. So let's go ahead and start to do all of that in the next lesson.